Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com nightly update show. Hope everybody's doing well, guys. Take a moment out, support the channel, click that like button. Hopefully, again, I will continue to point you in the right direction. So I think a lot of you guys who are active participants in the markets are probably been thinking the same thing now for weeks. Okay. How long can this market stay up without the dam, right, finally bursting and water starts going everywhere, right? There's the worst kept secret of all is this market's been holding up by semiconductors. I'm not talking about the market, I'm talking about technology stocks, semiconductors and memory names. So for every AMD, right? For every AMD, for every Micron, for every SanDisk, which are unbelievable, right? Absolutely unbelievable. The idea that they were on this godlike run, that was like 2 months ago. This is like beyond anything any shareholder could have possibly dreamed of. So, these are the stocks that are just in their own ecosystem, their own bubble, and they're doing incredibly well. But if you've been actively trading the market, or you've just been watching this broadcast or been in the webinar for the last month, there's a completely different story brewing underneath the hood. And for all the semiconductor names that are really, really good, again, I'm just naming only a handful of them, there's a whole group out there, right? There's a whole group of stocks, whether it's software, right? Software names, internet, AI, they're getting destroyed. It's really a tale of two markets, right? It really is, absolutely. So if you've been watching this broadcast, if you've just been an active trader, you know what's going on, right? Meta just destroyed, can't get out of its own way. Amazon is a day away of losing this whole range, right? It's beginning getting absolutely destroyed. Google reports came out. They're one of their senior executives, AI, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. At one point was down like 25 today. Okay, this is not healthy. Microsoft, king of the jungle, everything's going well, not so much, right? You got Oracle getting slammed, which is basically another day away from getting hit. PLTR, that was untouchable, right? Absolutely untouchable over the last couple of years, is now on the surface of losing its April lows and starting its next leg down. Tesla, you have one moment, the stock is going crazy today. I traded Tesla 4 times today, right? Tesla looks like it's going crazy, deep out of the money calls, and then they sell it off. Tesla looks about to fall off a cliff, deep out of the money puts, they start to rally. Again, you can see it's just sitting in between this whole mishmash channel. Reports came out earlier today that, quote unquote, nobody knows, that the merger between SpaceX and Tesla are kind of there on the surface. Sooner than later, they ran the stock and then they sold it off. Speaking of SpaceX, right? We've been talking about this for the last couple of days, okay? All it needed to do is lose one previous day's worth of selling. That's exactly what happened on Wednesday's video, right? Last video we recorded, Wednesday's video. And every single day it's been taking out lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. And if you missed it at 150, right? If you missed it at 150 at the IPO, well, you're probably going to get it tomorrow, okay? This thing just got absolutely murdered today. We'll get to the pivots in a second. Congratulations to all you guys who shorted this morning, are keeping a runner overnight. This thing got absolutely murdered. And now, guys, I'll even give you the price. Any close below 149. 149 is the IPO lows. Any close below 149 on SpaceX, this thing's a wrap. I mean, it shouldn't have never been traded up there in the first place. It's not really, it's not even a hindsight sort of conversation. Everybody knew going into this IPO that the valuation at 1.7 trillion was ridiculous. The valuation on a 3-day run of 3 trillion valuation that was bigger at one point than Amazon. It was just asinine. So here we are kind of back in the idea that people are wondering why the stock is coming in. It shouldn't have been up there in the first place. So, watch this 49 level, folks. Any close below 49 violates the IPO lows, and then it should test the IPO print at 135. Again, fair value for this thing. And I get it. I get it. They have Starlink, which is a monster, right? That's where its monster business is, but it's a three-pronged business. You got the AI, you got the Starlink, and you got the space travel. Okay, so as far as I understand, none of us have been in space. Everybody does AI, right? And Starlink is awesome, right? So you got 1 out of 3 that's awesome. The stock should be valued somewhere between $40 and $60 a share. The stock right now is at 155. 149 is the IPO low. Let's see what happens here. The craziest thing what I've seen so far is the massive range that we saw today. Okay, we saw candles, especially in Tesla. We saw candles today that were just outrageous. If you look at the 60-minute view of Tesla today, again, the daily chart's not going to really show you, but if you look at the daily view on Tesla today, it went from literally 392 pre-market to 415, all the way back down in a single candle to 404, rallied back to 412, came all the way back down to 406, rallied back to 411. I mean, this was absolutely out of control. From the macro point of view, again, it really needs to get back above the 200-day moving average for this thing to go on a potential godlike run. But the overall macro picture just doesn't smell good, guys. You cannot sit there and idolize 3, 4, 5 stocks in the semiconductor group and say, Microsoft doesn't matter, Google doesn't matter, Meta doesn't matter. You know, these stocks don't matter. They do matter. And eventually you have to run into a question of, well, what happens first, right? Do the semiconductors and memory stocks continue to pull everything up, okay? Or is buyer exhaustion, and we see this all the time, is buyer exhaustion going to come into play? Sellers are going to start getting very, very frisky, and then this market could get pulled. And if that's the case, again, you guys are thinking exactly the same thing. What I'm saying is just some people are just in complete denial. If these stocks are super weak, right, and these memory and semiconductor chips finally give up, man, you could be looking at a 1,000-point decline in one day. Again, is that going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. But the longer we can't rally over overall broad market, the higher probability there will be a buyer's strike. Again, it's very, very tough to, at least for me, to convince myself that after almost a 40% run up, they're pausing to go higher. We don't know, right? We don't know. I have no idea. Again, I trade day to day. Today, I traded Tesla 4 times. I took a short off the 50-day rejection, which was good, and then I bounced the thing 4 times. So it's very, very important to kind of come in every single day, continue to play the strong theme, right? Again, the strong theme continues to be the semiconductors, continues to be memory names, but be conscious of the overall market. And if there is a buyer strike in your stock and it takes out the previous day's highs and ultimately tanks right after, that is going to be a big red sign. If you look at today's pivots, really nice day, man. Really, really nice day. QNT, again, talk about the importance of SpaceX IPO low. Well, here's where an example of QNT took out IPO highs. 72.75 was a very, very big area. This thing put up a nice candle here at the open here. Look, check this out. It took out the 72.75 level, went all the way up to 78 before a big, nasty reversal in the overall market. Beautiful job. Congratulations for you guys who caught it. And the video was actually really good at the open, right? 1150 was the 4-day range. I said there's instant supply there at 211.80, so you need a second entry. For all you guys who don't trade the PS60 theory, this has nothing to do with you. But for all of us who do trade the PS60 theory, we understand the importance of a second entry. It put it in a high of 12, retraced, and once it got through 12, stock went to 14 before completely imploding and pretty much closing at the lows of the day. But again, nice run on NVIDIA at the open. Avago, not a big move, ran up about a couple of bucks, and as you can imagine, along with everything else, got hit. SpaceX, right? This was the one right here. SpaceX 172. If it builds below, can flush. Yada, yada, yada. We're like trading at 154 right now. Really, really awesome move. Congratulations for you guys who caught it. IREN saw a lot of call buying, never confirmed. Tesla saw the previous 60-minute channel and never reclaimed. So it's very, very important, guys. Just you have to trade the market that you have, not the market that you want. There's a lot of names that got really, really hit, had a big, big run-ups, And the most important part is be wary of potential more downside bias. Now, again, let's look at some names, right? Let's definitely look for some names. So tomorrow, again, like I said, the semis are holding up. Do not chase the semis. They already had big run-ups. Look for names that potentially could run up if they continue to give you one more day of upside bias. So check out MCHP, right? MCHP is one of the very few names that has not busted out yet. Is it possible if they hold up the semiconductors for one more day, it can go? Sure. The fact that it held up and didn't sell off and closed green, keep an eye on this thing on the May highs. If this thing gets above the May highs, this thing can wake up. SpaceX, we talked about in nausea. I like Amazon if it loses today's lows. I really do, because not only is it going to lose today's lows, it's going to lose this whole formation here and all these Bollinger Bands and all these moving average that acts as support. If there was short-term expiration buyers coming in for the 225 puts, definitely keep an eye on that. ARM did not rally today, okay? Did not rally today and stopped right on the 5-day moving average. If there is eventually a pull in the semiconductors and this thing loses the 5-day moving average, there's definitely a selling point of interest. I want to keep an eye on that. Oracle looks like it wants to take out multi-week lows. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tomorrow will be day 8. Almost 2 weeks worth of distribution. If this thing starts taking out the June lows, it should go lower. PLTR, like we talked about a few minutes ago, it is very, very close to losing the April lows. This thing looks disgusting, absolutely disgusting. SpaceX, we just talked about ad nauseum. And I think that is it, right? I think that is it. So again, tale of two markets. The question is, how long can the leaders, right? The semis, the storage names, how long can they hold up until they start joining everything else? Again, that's a question that it's impossible to answer, but again, you at least have to have the conversation and be wary of your reality. Guys, have a great night, everybody. God bless and with God's help, I'll see you all in the field tomorrow.